Hey guys, it's Fear91, and I'm bringing you my thoughts on yesterday's Nintendo Direct. Now, before we start with that, I just want to say I was right about half of the predictions that I gave for the Direct because I was right about Mario Tennis Aces, which was pretty easy, and I was right about them not talking about Metroid Prime 4, and I was right about them giving Project Octopath Traveler a release date. But I was wrong about 4 others, so less than half, but still. All right, let's move on. Now, before we go on to what I really want to talk about the Direct, just going to say they did talk about 3DS, but I don't really care about that. But it is still good to see that they are still supporting the 3DS because they could have just thrown it to the wayside, gone, Nintendo Switches are portable and our console. So they could have, but now they're still supporting the 3DS. So the 3DS owners are not getting the raw end of the stick. They're getting support, so it is good. Now let's move on to what I really want to talk about, and that's the Switch announcements. Now, as I said, I was right about Mario Tennis Aces. They delved more deep into it, and they gave it a release date. And even though the release date is a little later than I thought it was going to be, I mean, June 22nd, because I thought it would be a spring release, but it's not. But it's fine because Nintendo has basically just lined them up from May. You got Hyrule Warriors in May, you got Mario Tennis Aces in June, then you got Project Octopath Traveler in July. So they're really just lining up month by month, kind of like they did last year, I think. So it is good, and it looks good. But one of the biggest things that surprised me about Mario Tennis Aces and also Dark Souls is that they're getting a beta. Now, I understand betas are normal for Xbox One and PS4, but let's face it, Nintendo doesn't usually do betas. Sure, they had the Splatoon Splatfest, but that was a rarity. So it's good to see Nintendo is getting into the whole beta thing and the stress test thing. This kind of shows that they're pushing online play as well. Even though the Switch is still focused seemingly on couch multiplayer, it does seem that Nintendo is also focusing on online play, which is good because that's what they need to do. Couch multiplayer is still good. It's good to play with someone who's right next to you, but it is also good to play with a lot of people online. Let's face it, that's what you normally play as, especially adults. But here's the thing also about online play. I think that Nintendo really needs to deal with this voice chat issue because they're now pushing online. It's not like the Wii U. The Wii U didn't really push online like that. Sure, you could play online, but the Wii U didn't really push it like that. So with the voice chat, as I said in the previous video, being able to talk to your friends or even random people makes an online game, I believe, better most of the time. Nintendo, I think, really needs to work out this voice chat issue and make sure that it just works properly. They need to bring an update so you can just plug a headset into your Switch, or maybe even bring out an updated controller where you can just plug a headset into that and play the game and talk to people. I think they just need to do that, and we need to stop with all this voice chat app stuff. They just need to enable us to use our headsets so that we can talk to people online, especially since they seem to be pushing it more. All right, so other than that, Crash Bandicoot. That was a surprise, kind of surprised me. I know people said it made sense on the Switch, but the Crash Bandicoot 1, 2, and 3 were Sony exclusives, so it is a little surprising to me, but it does make sense on the Switch. And Crash Bandicoot is the type of game that you want to take on the go. Sure, other games are enjoyable on the go, like Mario Odyssey, Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle. They're good on the go. And really, any game is probably good on the go since you're still playing the full game. But certain games like Crash Bandicoot and other platformers really work well on the go. So I think that's going to sell really well on the Nintendo Switch console, maybe even sell better than it does on the PS4. But we'll have to wait and see. Other than that, they announced Splatoon, which I don't really care about. It's good to see that they're supporting Splatoon story mode since it seems like that's a story mode DLC. But at the same time, like I said, I don't really care about it. I owned Splatoon on the Wii U and didn't play it much. So I'm not probably going to buy Splatoon 2, and I'm probably not going to play that DLC. But those of you who like Splatoon, they announced some story mode DLC, so that would be good for you guys. They also showed the No More Heroes, and one thing I was glad about that, now, I'm not much of a No More Heroes fan, I never really owned the old ones, but one thing I was glad was that, because when I first heard that he was going to go into the video game world and stuff, I was like, oh, is this going to be like where he goes into the video game world and he plays like in 2D or something like that? I thought it was going to be like maybe low graphics or something like that, but it looks like No More Heroes, and I'm glad that it looks like No More Heroes, and I'm glad that it's co-op as well. But I'm probably not going to pick it up, but those of you who like No More Heroes, it looks pretty good. Now let's move to the big announcement. The announcement that I don't think anyone saw coming, and how they did it was so great. You see a bunch of Splatoon people, and then you see the Splatoon girl looking at something, and you see the Smash logo in her eyes. It was just done really well. Then you see the shadow figure of Mario, and I think Zelda, and some other characters. So, but what was most surprising is that they're already announcing Smash for the Switch. Why is this surprising to me? Because the thing is that, do you guys remember Mario Kart for the Wii? It didn't come out, I think, till 3 years after the Wii came out. Now, I believe that was because the Wii was successful. If you notice with the Wii U, Nintendo had to push out a lot of their games because the Wii U wasn't that successful. So they had to push out a lot of their games, be like, okay, come on, guys. We have these games on the Wii U now. Come buy the Wii U. But with the Switch is selling technically faster than the Wii did. So it's surprising for me to see all these big hitters coming out so early in the system's life cycle, because not only was it was announced 2018, that's this year. So that was strange too. Now we gotta be a little cautious with this announcement, because I was watching Arlo's video and he was like, is it a port? Is it a new game or something like that? And we gotta be cautious because it could be a port. It could just be like Mario Kart on the Switch, where they just add some new stuff, they bring in all the DLC and everything, and then they bring it out on the Switch. And it could be, but it also could be a brand new game. I don't think we're gonna hear any more about it till E3 this year, so I guess we'll have to wait till that to see whether it's a port or whether it's the full-blown game. Well, that's my thoughts on yesterday's Nintendo Direct. But what are you guys' thoughts? Were you guys pleased with all the games they talked about? Were you guys disappointed at some games that maybe you expected to see but they didn't talk about? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Remember, like, share, and subscribe. And may God bless you all.